Hawley is calling for action after he says Missouri troops stationed in Poland are living in dismal conditions and eating contaminated food. He says, according to a whistleblower, 25 members of the 1221st Transportation Company of the Army National Guard have gotten sick from E. coli.
Well, it's just outrageous. I mean, we've heard from multiple troops who are deployed there. I mean, here they are serving our country. This is the 1221st over in Poland, and they are finding bugs in their food. Their food is contaminated. Their water is unclean. Their living conditions are unsanitary.
Hawley says families here in Missouri are now being forced to spend their own money to send loved ones water and food. Last week, he sent a letter to General Christopher Cavalli, the commander of the United States European Command, asking for an investigation. The National Guard says they are aware of the allegations, but they are not commenting on it. The European Command sent us this statement that says, in part, the health and well-being of our service members are EUCOM's priority. Once notified of potential issue, U.S. Army Europe Africa, in conjunction with Polish authorities, took immediate action to ensure the safety and welfare of all personnel. They identified 16 service members who complained of illness and were examined by U.S. medical personnel immediately. That resulted in one confirmed case of E. coli. You can read the rest of that statement under this story at ky3.com.